Find a third degree polynomial with integer coefficients and with zeros of -1 with multiplicity 1 and 2 with multiplicity 2 and the y-intercept is -8. Okay. So it seems like there's a lot going on here, right? So let's just try to narrow it down, right? So we know we want to find a third degree polynomial, which means that we need 3 zeros, right? Or 3 solutions. And if you check, we actually have 3, right? Because of the multiplicities. Right, so we know that x equals -1 is one of our solutions, but also notice that x equals 2 with multiplicity of 2, right? So we could write it twice like this if we wanted to, right? Now the y-intercept of -8, we'll deal with that a little bit later, okay? So let's get the factors, right? So we know that if we bring everything over to one side, then we get x plus 1 equals 0 and x minus 2 equals 0, right? And then remember, the key is we got to multiply these guys together. Okay, once we multiply these together, we get our polynomial, and then we'll deal with the y-intercept after that. Okay, so let's go ahead and multiply these out, right? X minus 2 times x minus 2, right? That's x minus 2 quantity squared, so that's x squared minus 4x plus 4. Okay, and then we'll just multiply that with the x plus 1. Okay. So when we properly distribute this, we'll do the x term first, right? X times x squared gives us x cubed minus 4x squared plus 4x. And then the 1 times each of these three guys, right? We get x squared minus 4x plus 4. And then when we combine all the like terms, we get x cubed minus 3x squared plus 4. Okay. Now you got to be careful with this though, right? Because this is not the answer, right? Okay, so you're probably thinking, yeah, this is my polynomial. This is f of x. I multiplied all the factors together to get the polynomial, right? But there's one extra bit of information here. What is it? It says the y-intercept is -8. And what does that mean? It means that if we plug in f of 0, right? F of 0 should equal -8. Now you notice here, when we plug in 0, we actually get 4. Okay, so what's missing here, right? So what's missing is that there must be some coefficient, right? There must be some term that we can multiply this whole thing by. Okay, so we call that, or we can use the letter a, right? So a times this whole thing. So if we call this our polynomial function here, right? Now notice now what happens when we plug in f of 0, right? F of 0. We still get 4a, right? But think about that. We actually know what f of 0 should equal, right? That should equal -8. So what does it mean? That if we divide both sides by 4 here, then a is -2, right? So that's going to be our polynomial, right? So what's our final answer here? The final answer is -2 x cubed plus 6x squared minus 8. Okay, so essentially we're just going to multiply each term or each coefficient here by -2. So this should be our final answer.